Well, Ravens fans, I'm here with Mel Kiper from ESPN. Nobody knows the draft better than this man right here.
Except Todd.
So Mel, I want to talk about the draft, but first, I want to get your perspective on the Ravens front office. Eric DeCosta takes over for Ozzie Newsome last year. You know this front office really well. What do you like about what Eric has done in his first year as GM?
Just so passionate about the game. Loves the game of football, knows the game of football inside and out, knows what it takes to be a great player. And what he's looking at, obviously, always works in unison with what has happened historically for success at the pro level in a scouting department, well fortified, just a great staff. And I think he knows and he hires the right people. He has the right people working for him, giving him the correct recommendations. They're going to hit on every pick. And some of the picks that people criticize maybe develop 2-3 years down the road. They've had a great track record of finding pass rushers late in the draft. Wide receivers maybe getting a little better with Hollywood now, because they had a little streak there, but they were a little off. Ozzie Newsome was with some receivers. Ironically, Ozzie, one of the greatest receivers of all time. So you never know. You're not going to hit on everything. You're not going to be perfect. There's going to be drafts that don't go your way. But overall, to build Super Bowl teams, as they had done on 2 different occasions, and won 2 Super Bowls and thought they had a chance this past year and may have a chance moving forward with Lamar, keep the continued improvement of Lamar Jackson, bodes well that you could have 3 different entities lead this team to a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer did it. Think what he meant to this football team. You saw Joe Flacco do it. Now to see Lamar do it. So 3 different eras of Baltimore Raven football winning a Super Bowl will be great to see. Now it's still happening, hopefully. That hasn't happened yet, but I think it could certainly if Eric keeps fortifying this talent base.
I hope you're right. There's a lot of Ravens fans, obviously, that hope you're right as well. So when you look at building this team around Lamar, what do you think is kind of the next piece that the Ravens need to get to that point of winning a Super Bowl like they're talking about?
Yeah, I think the offense is in good shape. As long as that offensive line holds up, and the offensive line is, I wouldn't say less important, but it's not as critical with Lamar being so mobile and doing the things they do with Greg Roman. The tight end has been fortified. We know how strong they are at that position. They know they have Ricard. They know they have receiving entities you could add to that. And they're hoping that Miles Boykin really steps up a little more than he did this past year, go along with Hollywood. I think the defense is where you have the issue that you need to kind of fix. Linebacker, maybe inside like Patrick Queen. I love him out of LSU. Most improved defensive player LSU had, all over the field, saved them in the Clemson game with some real key tackles in that football game. So Patrick Queen would be a consideration. Certainly you're always looking for pass rushers. If you can find another pass rusher, they've had great track record with Judon, Zadarius Smith, Pernell McPhee, getting him late in the draft. We'll see what happens there. And it obviously, but I do think linebacker is the key entity on defense that you need to get to continue the improvement and continue this team moving forward to be a Super Bowl caliber team in the next 5 years.
Is there a receiver? I know the offense, like you mentioned, is kind of set. They broke all kinds of records. Lamar wins MVP. But, Eric DeCosta said they like to continue to add playmakers. You're not done. They don't feel like they're done there. Is there a receiver that you feel like could pair well with what they already have in Hollywood Brown, who's this vertical speed threat, could come in and kind of be an impact player? Yeah,
there's a lot of guys there's 23 to 25 third, second, or first round receivers. Some have up to 30. So there's a lot of receivers you're going to get 4th, 5th, 6th round. They're going to have maybe 3rd, 4th round grades. So there's some. I like Lynn Bowden Jr. out of Kentucky. Was a quarterback this year out of necessity. Really good player, has return skills. Great kid, competitor. I think he would be somebody to look at. You think about guys that are even beyond that a little bit. I know Todd McShay really loves Van Jefferson out of Florida. He could be a 2nd, 3rd round possibility. KJ Hamler, Penn State. I'm going to be watching him here because he dropped some balls at Penn State, but he's got great playmaking ability. We'll see what happens with him. He's got a chance to be a 2nd rounder. So the depth at wide receiver is going to allow for some really good players like an Antonio Gandy Golden from Liberty to maybe be a 3rd round pick, where in other drafts he might have been an early 2nd, mid-2nd. So there's a kid out of Liberty, Gandy Golden. Keep an eye on him. If he gets that at 3rd, 4th round area, could be a nice fit with his size and his physicality.
When you look at the AFC North, it's a bit of a changing. Ben Roethlisberger, we'll see what happens there. The Browns went through their issues this year, but they have a young team, new coach, and all that. What is your makeup of terms of the projection of the AFC North next year and in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think, as I said, in the next 5 years, you expect the Ravens to be maybe in multiple Super Bowls. Next year,
I like that. Multiple Super Bowls. You heard it here first.
That's what you're hoping. I thought the Cleveland Browns could be that team.
Yeah.
So when I started to say Cleveland could own the division, could be great, they couldn't get it done. So you don't want to go too crazy with this, but I think the fact that this organization, from top, Steve Bisciotti's a great owner, phenomenal owner. Then you have Ozzie, Eric, and the scouting department. Everything they have there is so well fortified in terms of just people that love the game and are passionate about the game. That you would have believed them to be right there. But Cleveland should be back. At some point in time, they got to get it together. They didn't have. I thought they lacked leadership last year. Now this year, you think about coming in with the situation they have with Baker now going into his 3rd year. Cincinnati adding Joe Burrow. Pittsburgh, you can't have Ben forever. Right. So I think the Steelers have to figure out quarterback after Ben. But when you have Burrow, Baker, and Lamar in the same division, you got, and you know Steelers aren't going away. They're always going to be there. It's the Steelers. So I think that division moving forward should be really fascinating to keep an eye on.
Well, Ravens fans, you can watch Mel all week long here at the Combine and ESPN. Mel, thank you so much for the time. It's good to catch up.
Go Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely.